Hey everyone, welcome back to Live with Savannah. Today I have a very special guest, Robin Roberts from No Prep Kings. Just got back from Australia. How's that feel?
Great. It's great to be home. I lost 16 pounds on this trip, if that tells you anything about being happy to get home and eat.
I bet. I bet. So, to begin, just tell everyone a little bit about yourself before we start with any major questions. Or
I think there's a lot that can be said there. But the simple part is I was born and raised in a small town in western Kansas of 500 people. My dad's from a town of 50. We grew up where there were more deer than people in the entire county. And so, different lives I've lived. That's how I started and how I came up. And I've been lucky enough to live in big cities and do some pretty crazy things. So my life has been a pretty wild roller coaster of very basic, starting out in humble circumstances to today. I've done quite well. We have a great business and good people around me, and 7 daughters. It's crazy.
I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
So no sons, huh?
No. You flip a coin 7 times, heads will come up once. Not for me. So no, I'm blessed with girls. I feel great. They're all. I had an old man told me one time. He said, "You need daughters because when you get old, your sons will be too busy, but your daughters will come and push you out in the sun and take care of you." And so my daughters are special. They've been great to me, and now we're half and half on grandkids. So I've got 4 boys and 4 girls and grandkids. So it looks like I'm getting even there. So things are on the right track.
That's crazy. Absolutely insane. So, being that you have 7 daughters and 8 grandkids, how would you feel if any of them got into racing or doing like the street racing and drag racing?
Ooh, you know, I think one of my statements stands true for this. I would honestly advise them that you need to love work and hate money, and then you can get into racing and do this stuff. It's pretty crazy, and I also know that there are different levels, and so I'd want them to do it like I did, where you start out street racing with a small car and different things, and work your way up and learn through the process. I just think that's the right way, but it's a lot of work. A couple of the girls have said along the way, "Man, I'd like to do this," and then you get a car and you get some pieces and you start putting the work in, and they quickly drop out.
Yeah.
It's it's insane. In the higher levels we get now with No Prep Kings, it is incredibly intense. In fact, I have a main guy, Alan Brufloat, my crew chief. And if you don't have that guy who can do the machine, and one of my old best friends, Brian Sauser, he's an incredible mechanic too. If I didn't have the two of them, I couldn't do it because kids and a company and all the other stuff. Like, you've got to have help. And these guys love it like we do and treat the car like it's theirs. And they care for me, the monkey and the rocket. So that's pretty important.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see what you mean there. Racing is not, regardless of what kind of racing it is not a one man job or one woman.
No, no, nor is it an easy sport to conquer. If you want to be, you're going to have to be good at so many things. I mean, you're going to have to be a good driver, but you also are going to have to be able to find the right parts and put them together, tune it, get the right people who can tune them and keep them together. It doesn't matter what racing you're doing. If you don't have that, you're just going to struggle.
Yeah,
And I
and
don't like to struggle. I'd rather run up front.
yeah, even getting into more to safety, safety is one of the most important things. So that brings me to my next question. What was
Okay.
it like when you got the call in Australia that your car had been beat up in the trailer?
Well, so we were on a crazy time zone change. So I was actually, all of you, everybody out there knew about it before I did. So I just laid down to take a nap.
Okay.
We were getting some rest. Woke up a couple hours later, reach over and looked at my phone, and I think I had 19 missed calls. That's highly unusual. So I look, and I think three of them or four of them were Ryan Martin. So I just hit that one back, and Ryan and I are pretty close. And he said, "Hey man, have you seen the internet?" And I said, "No." He said, "Don't look." So that's how I found out about the car. He sent me pictures, and we, started. The first thing you do is, I've been through a lot of things in life, and running a business and all that. One of the things you learn is when it's done, it's done. You just move on, figure out what the plan is from here. So, we looked at the car. Our main thing was to figure out, can we figure out how to race it again here, because we're already here. And that was my biggest concern, was that we wouldn't be able to get it back going. And then, what we came for, we couldn't do. But it turned out, with a lot of work and a lot of help from some other race teams, we were able to get that car back together and go racing. It was not easy.
And that's a great example of why you can't do everything by yourself.
You can't. and we couldn't have done that. Like, we were in a whole different continent.
Yeah.
On the exact other side of the globe, we couldn't even do it ourselves. We had to reach out to and find some Australians who had, they call them sheds, we call them shops at home, things where we could go and do work. And because we had a container, and now our container was destroyed, we had to strap the door shut and push them closed with a forklift. It was so banged up and tore up. So, we were blessed enough to find a guy who was a pro mod racer, Stephen Ham, and he wasn't racing. So he brought us in. He brought all of his teams and friends together, and we all fixed that car. Then he gave us his transport. He actually drove it. As you know, they drive on the wrong side of the road over there.
Yeah.
They call it the right. We call it the wrong. On the left. So, we couldn't drive the transport or do anything. So he just took care of us. He moved that car to every track from then on. We had his transport. It was such an incredible outpouring of friendship from a guy who had never met us. And I'll never forget that kind of stuff. Boris Pacey was a guy in Perth who jumped up and helped us. We got there. We showed up with a car that didn't even run. He came over and built a fuel line for us. All kinds of stuff happened where we just met some great people. But that's the only way you can race. Yeah.
Yeah. The experience. I think everything, like with traveling and all that, is all about the experience you get.
Yeah. And not all of those experiences are great. I mean, the crash wasn't great. The time, the effort wasn't great. But like everything, once you overcome it, once the car runs, everything's good again. To me, it enhances the experience, because if something's easy, you don't learn anything from it, but you also don't grow through it. This was an incredible adversity, and we overcame it. And that just changes the whole story.
Yeah, and that's awesome. It took something bad to make it, like, not necessarily bad. You met new people, you learned from it. It's just great that you were able to have such welcoming people to help you bring it back together.
Yeah, and they were all, like I said, incredibly nice. I mean, you think about it, the container got turned on its side and slid down a major highway and blocked the entire highway. So they brought in a crane. I got videos of this now. They brought in a crane with the car. So the container is laying on its side. The car's on its top, laying on the side of the bottom of the container, which is now the bottom, what used to be the side. And they brought in a crane, and they just flipped the car's laying on its top. They flip the whole thing over, and the car flips over inside of it, gets stuck on the sidewall. I mean, for all of that to happen and lay across the freeway the way it did, and one of the teams, one of the selling agents from Street Outlaws that was selling shirts for Street Outlaws, got caught up in the traffic right behind the trailer that was crashed. And I mean, there's just so many crazy stories of things that just never happened, that it's kind of fun to tell now, but at the time we didn't feel fun about it at all.
I bet. Especially not when your car gets demolished as you.
No, it was beat to hell. It looks like a golf ball now.
Not demolished, but beat pretty badly.
No, it's pretty beat up. Here's what's crazy. Every body panel on it is broken.
Oh God.
every one of them. So
Yeah, that would be awful. But I know what it's like to have to fix a car up because my brother Kane, he races front wheel drive a dirt track. His 11 season car, well, more like 10 season car, got flipped one night and it was done for.
right,
Done. And we had a big race coming up next week. So we went out into the shop, we already had a chassis, you know. We built a whole brand new car within a week.
nice. See, when you overcome it, it just changes the experience. Now, but here's what I would say: if you dirt track race, you expect to damage a car. We drag
Yeah.
race. You just don't expect. I mean, unless something crazy happens, you just don't expect it.
And that was definitely something I would not expect.
No, right.
Okay. So many people know you for now in your racing career for Prep King, Street Outlaws, all that. But how
Yeah.
did you initially get your start? Like you said, you grew up kind of street racing. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I never went down a track till I was about 35 years old, I don't think. So we only street raced. Part of that was I lived in a very remote place in Kansas and started out with a pickup and then got a Challenger and built it up and went around racing that on the streets and stuff. And then moved to Phoenix, got my Trans Am going, and then that bug just bit me, and we started doing faster and faster and better and better. And pretty soon we were in Hot Rod Magazine shootouts and things like that. And that's where we became popular enough that people knew about us. And one of the people that knew about us was Big Chief, because he was a Pontiac guy, and so were we. So, we talk a little bit internet stuff and whatever. And that's how when Street Outlaws took off, that's how I knew about it, got to know some of the other guys. And then when they decided to expand the show, I went and got this car, High Voltage, that we took to Australia. We went and got that car and got it ready and started racing No Prep Kings. And then the next thing you know, we're in Mega Cash days and everything else. So you just stick your toe in the water, and from experience, we knew how to make cars go down streets. We knew how to make small tire cars work on streets. And so all of that applies to the junk that we end up running on for streets or no prep tracks, where sometimes they're pretty crappy too.
Yeah. But that's awesome how you went from just, having fun, just trying your best, wanting to make it somewhere to making it somewhere and still having fun to this day.
Yeah, that's I think a story of perseverance, and for everyone, I would say the same thing. I mean, first off, I'm big on setting goals, and I'm also big on setting a goal that's realistic. Like, can you do this? So you got to sit down and weigh everything out. And we sat down and weighed out what we could, but we didn't know everything. If you'd have told me, as crazy, as hard as this might be, I don't know that. I mean, we would have done it, but it certainly might have been a little bit different. But for me, I just set the goals out. I'm blessed enough that we've been building a business for years, and so we have the financial capacity to do it. You have to have the time, the money, and then the intelligence. You drop any one of those out, and you're really just going to struggle to get it done at the level that we're trying to do here.
Yeah. Which that's definitely something that's one of the hardest experiences about it, is having to weigh out everything,
Yeah, I know a lot of people who don't do that very well. I've seen over the years where people spend their last dollar on the sport or spend all of their time. And I think that just takes away from the enjoyment of it in life. It's like everything, you got to have a little bit of balance in your life. We've got kids and grandkids and do church things, and we spend time doing that. And then there's the time we go racing, and we're blessed enough to be able to balance that out with good help. And it's hard though, because taking No Prep King schedule, or like this 5 weeks in a row, you're gone 5 weeks. It's daunting, and I'll tell you, you're ready to get home. And when you do, I mean, my house has never felt so nice. My bed's never felt so comfortable. The same old food we normally eat never tasted so good. It's like everything's new again. So that's an awesome part of the experience too, is
Yeah,
seeing the rest of the world, which I've been fortunate enough to be able to do.
which that's great. Definitely a great experience to be able to tell even more family grandkids about in the future.
Yeah, they probably won't care, right? They'll be like, "Oh, you had one of those things that burned gas." Yeah. Oh, we plug ours in, Granddad. I'm sure that's how it's going to go. It'll be,
Yeah, most
no,
like
you're going to tell the stories that are uphill both ways to school, right? Like, no, it's just a car. So, grandkids, they'll be fun. They'll have fun with the stories. I hope that's the plan.
let's hope, that's always something awesome being able to tell a story back to your family
Yeah.
and share that experience. But NPK Stu said good evening to us both. So good evening.
Ah, yep. We know that guy.
Had an interview with him. Kind of weird because I got interviewed and I haven't been interviewed in ages.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he interviewed me. Oh, what day was it? If I had my binder up here, I just went through and rewrote all my numbers down. But what was it? He made a comment about, he said, like talking to kids about cassette tapes and MTV.
Right. He's right. It's you try and talk to kids today about something that didn't involve a cell phone, they really don't get it. It's a different world that I grew up in, and it'll
Yeah,
be a different world that my grandkids grow up in.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I know a bit about background because they say I should have been born in the 80s.
Is that right?
I listened to a lot of 80s singers and had an 80s hairstyle a while back. My hair was like really fluffy and like crimped.
Ah,
Not crimped, it was like through braids, but I don't know. But anyways,
nice.
the interview was like 3 to 4 weeks ago, and he had COVID. But
Is that right?
it was still a good time.
Well, I had a big mullet back in the '80s, so I was in line with your thinking. We listened to hair metal bands. We did the Motley Crue, the Cinderella, Rat, all that kind of stuff was
Yep.
big when I was in those days. And yeah, I remember the '80s with a fond memory.
Yeah, definitely. But people say I was born in the wrong era.
Right.
I mean, I could see it. I could see it.
Well, you can't see it now; it's thinned out, but it used to be a thing.
Hey, you never know. Maybe the mullet could come back.
The older I get, the more I don't care what color it is either. Just stick around, don't
Yeah.
go away.
Don't make me bald.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd still look wonderful bald.
Yeah.
So, seeing as you just got back from Australia, what is it like to travel? Like, is it a good experience? Kind of dragging out?
Well, it was a great experience from meeting everyone. Of course, the racing was fantastic. The Australian racers were great. The Australian people were great. That was awesome. And I've done a lot of traveling over the years, and so I've kind of experienced where, you have to enjoy where you are because it's going to be different. Some of the things I didn't expect to be quite so different because Australia, here I'm going to get them all mad at me. It's kind of like, it's like America light. They speak English. They do a lot of the same things. Well, they speak English, maybe not American English, because some of the terms are kind of weird, and that was fun too. But they're kind of like all their buildings, decor, things like that are '90s, and so it feels like you're just maybe a decade and a half behind in a lot of the stuff, but a great, beautiful country, beautiful people. And you got to go into it looking for the parts that you'll have fun in.
Yeah.
The racing was phenomenal. The other racers were all pretty cool. And that's really why we went. So I've traveled to Dubai. I've traveled to China. I've done a lot of things. I've been to Europe all the time, go all the time for business. I'm on a board over there. That kind of stuff is more challenging because they speak different languages. Here, at least, we went where you had a common language everywhere. It made things a lot easier.
Yeah.
Didn't make the food any easier because I lost 16 pounds on a trip in 5 weeks. That's a lot.
That's a lot for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So bringing up the fact about your business and how the fact that you're a CEO, which I think is phenomenal, being that you're still like doing the show and all that, how does that help when it comes to the whole racing industry?
Well, I mean, I think it's just your wealth of experiences, and my experiences have been bringing teams together, bringing people together, working with manufacturers, and so that part of what we do is maybe a little easier for me because of those things. But it creates a consistent amount of trouble too because there's constantly things for me to do. Every day I go home knowing that there are 9 things I didn't get done, and I have to be okay with that because there's just so much to do. You'd kill yourself as a CEO if you didn't know when enough was enough. So it's a struggle to do this and do that too, but man, I love racing so much, and I always have, and I've always thought that I want to race at the highest level. And so I'm also very blessed that now's the time because we went through COVID, and that sounds strange, but COVID taught us as a business how to work a little bit remotely.
Yeah.
So, I'm able to do what I do and still stay connected with people, and the years of experience that I have that we put good teams in place. So I have some great people that can run the company with just a little bit of guidance, and that's worked out pretty good for me.
That's awesome. I love the fact that you still doing what you love while running, being a CEO of the company, of a business. That's something that's definitely strikes me as like a role model.
Well, it's positive that I get to use marketing funds to sponsor myself. That's very helpful. Because these cars just eat up money, and
Yeah.
so, but everyone in the area, many people in the area know my company because of Street Outlaws and No Prep Kings and what we do there. So it's a great marketing tool for the company. To have the logo on Discovery Channel and things like that is pretty positive, and so it works for me.
That definitely helps. I would say it definitely helps get it out there.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I've been kind of railing you with some questions right here. So I'm gonna give a light-hearted one.
That's all right. That's the way.
So, do you find it easier to race off a tree or a flashlight?
Flashlight by far. I love a flashlight with a tire crack rule. That's my favorite thing to do. The tree, as some of the fans of the show out there would notice, that the tree being an instant green, the way they did it early left a lot to be desired, and left the ability to guess. I'm not a fan of guessing, as everyone would know, and so it's I love flashlight tire crack.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. That's definitely my favorite one to watch because it just adds to the suspense.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
So, so first, what do you like more, street racing or drag racing?
Man, I like street racing by far. It's unfortunate that we don't get enough of it. Sorry, my wife and dog just got home. This will be fun.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, but that's my favorite because that's how I started out. But street racing really only happens, on the show, and it's not. I mean, it's easier to get a drag strip than it is to get a street and a road commandeered for the show. So we do No Prep Kings and all that too, and my favorite by far is the street.
It seems more fun.
Yeah, it is.
So, going back to the safety category, what kind of safety equipment do you use?
Well, that's something I'm kind of a stickler on. I do the best of everything, and so I use a carbon fiber Hans device, and I have a helmet that's It's honestly the most expensive helmet you could buy, but it's super light. And it's light because that's a weight that pulls on your neck, times the gravity. You know, if you have a negative 8G pull, it turns the 4-pound helmet into 32 pounds ripping on your neck. Rather than if it was a 6-pound helmet, there's 48 pounds. And so it's a huge difference in the way that it keeps you safe. So I spend a lot of money to be safe. I'm a real stickler on that. I have the cars built around me to be safe. I had high voltage modified to give me all the room it needed, which included cutting out the bottom and moving the seat down and all kinds of things that we've done. We run foam underneath the seat to protect my spine if we have issues. I mean, I run 2 fire bottles in the car. We just added those. We used to only have one, and I never felt real comfortable about that. Just trying to do everything that I can to be as safe as possible. And I met a guy who now makes a fire system that's automated and water-based that I've added to the car. Like, I will not scrimp on safety.
Which no one's gonna like hate you for that, because safety is one of the most important things when it comes to racing. Especially with wrecks and all that kind of stuff, especially just going faster can be a lot of damage from that. The parachute don't work right.
Yeah. Well, we run really fast. We make over 3,000 horsepower. We're going to use all that we can. And the truth is there are only 2 types of cars, right? Ones that have been crashed and those that are going to be. So that means there are 2 types of drivers, those that have crashed and those that are going to crash. And so you better have the good stuff.
You got to be safe.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, that can take away from chances of getting back to the sport, you know?
Yeah. I mean, not only getting back to the sport, but 8 grandkids, a wife and daughters. I mean, I have a vested interest in going home.
Definitely rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
So Randy Simser says, so we're drag racing?
Oh, yeah. You must do a lot of those circle track guys, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
We got a lot of new people on the page today, so
good.
That's definitely exciting.
Good. Well, they're drag racers, and that's what we do.
Yeah, it's nice to have all kinds of sorts. I've actually interviewed someone from Australia.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, her name was Abby Meehan.
Where were they out of?
Oh, I have no. Oh.
Well, it's a big country. We learned like Perth and Sydney, Perth and Brisbane. It's like New York and LA. They're that far apart, and so it's a big country with not a lot of people, but they're coagulated in little pockets of cities on the coast.
Yeah, and one reason I don't remember is because it was so long ago, even though we've done like twice. But like, I definitely get trying to figure out a time. That's what Mom was saying, because the time zone is completely different.
Right, and you've been doing this since you were 9, right?
Yes, I have.
That's amazing. 6 years, and you started when you were 9. That's a little nutty.
February 19th, 2018.
Is that right?
That day sticks to me because it's a couple of days before my birthday.
My birthday's the 16th.
Mine's the 26th.
Nice.
Little kind of close to my birthday, so that's the only reason I remember it specifically, but it's always good to have that memory.
Mm-hmm.
we people want to see you climb into a circle track car.
I would do it. I've had I grew up out near Dodge City, and so Dodge City, Kansas. Several of my friends, Bart Baker and others, were big circle track racers, and so I've been a part of that sport. I used to help him with his car. Brian Sauser and I did. It was a lot of fun. I love circle track racing, but I don't know. I'd like to get in and try, but I don't know how I would do as a driver.
Well, come on down to Tennessee. We can. My brother can let you in his car.
It'd have to be a big car with a big guy.
Hey, it is a pretty big car to be a late model.
Yeah.
And then you can see tips and tricks when it comes to drag race and the street race. It's like a fair trade.
Yeah. I would give it hell, but I'd probably suck at it, but I'd try.
Hey, you never know unless you try.
I agree.
So for the late joiners, just because they joined late, so what kind of car do you run exactly?
So I run a 1968 Firebird. We have two of them. One of them is an original VIN car. The other one we, of course, built as a VIN car, but it's so one is a newer, updated car. I guess I could say it like this: high voltage that you'll see we raced in Australia, that we raced for many years. Won a couple no prep kings, been in a bunch of finals. It's a good car. Built that car was built to be a nitrous car and built to go do drag week. And then we converted it, put turbos in it, did a lot of things like that. But it was never intended to run as hard as we ran it. So I had a custom, and let me say this. I got that car in 2016 when, in all honesty, that was all I could afford, right? Now you fast forward a few years and I have a car built where I can do what I want. So the new car, high velocity, is a 68 Firebird also, but it's just improved everywhere. It is a super nice car. And it's fast. It's super stable. It's got all the good stuff. And, man, I can't wait to be racing it again. I crashed it last year in October, as most people would know, but, that's a great car. We're getting it rebuilt. And we'll have it hopefully for the start of No Prep Kings. If not, we'll race high voltage for the first race or two. It'll be close.
Yeah.
And I have a 69 Firebird, and Melody has a 2019 Mustang, and we have a 76 Trans Am that was famous. That car was in Hot Rod Magazine a bunch of times and things like that. So I'm dumb. I have too many cars.
Hey, too many cars never hurt.
Right.
Cars are cars.
If you can afford them, it's not dumb, but yeah.
So Stu asked, Robin, now being back, what are some of the most important things you're looking forward? You're looking to improve for MPK, like hard testing, mentality, etc.
Well, we just got the rules, so we're trying to figure out now what to move forward with the power plant. I think I made a decision, but I'm not going to announce that yet. I got to make some calls and figure a few things out, but we're going to have, here's one thing we know. It's going to have a big Hemi in it, and it's going to fly. So
making us sweat, are you?
Yeah, it's I'll let everybody know when the time comes, but
hey, it's all the exciting. It's exciting.
But no, we've already lined up the last 2 weeks of May to test whichever car we're going to go forward with. Or start the season with. I won't race high velocity until we've had a few days to get it tested. But the season starts June 1. It'll be crazy because it's going to be almost 15 weeks in a row. It'll be nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's all worth it though.
Yeah, well, that's the plan.
Hey, if a plan's a plan, you know?
Yeah.
So, who are the biggest role models over the course of your career?
Well, my dad was a role model when I was younger and still is in a lot of ways. He's the one I learned how to be a good business person with and things like that. He just really taught me a lot of things, mainly by his actions. You know, my dad was the kind of guy who didn't tell you as many things as he showed you. And then my cousin Ray, he was a big influence in my life in business and things like that. And as I've gotten older, now I've got guys like, Ryan Martin, who's great at the sport. He's a guy that you can always look over and try and emulate what he does. And I think he's a great role model. You know, people like that in my life have just, that's who I've always tried to pattern myself after. When I think about that, pattern myself after winners, you know, people who do the right things. And that's, it's very important to me.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. Bring out the emotions.
Yeah.
Good speech.
Really, it's, I think back to the way I grew up in a very remote area and things like that, and the struggles we had in my youth, I'm incredibly blessed to be where I am in every facet, in business, in racing, whatever it is. I'm very blessed.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Good speech, my guy. So, out of any style of racing, who is one driver or someone of the racing world that you would love to meet?
Oh boy. I've met just about everyone that I think I would be able to meet at this point. I've met John Force. I've met, all the people that when I was a kid that I thought were really cool in sports. And, but I'd say this. So when I've only, all right. So you want emotional? I'll give you emotional. I've only cried once when a sports hero died. And the one that did that for me was Davey Allison. So I was a huge Davey Allison fan back in the NASCAR days when I was a kid. And it was so much fun to watch him race. And he came from the Allison family. I remember watching Bobby and Donnie and all those guys. And then here comes their son, Davey, and he starts racing. He's a really nice kid. He's a super skinny dude and all that, but he was just a really nice kid and a great racer. And then he wrecked his helicopter. I don't know if you wouldn't remember this, but maybe he wrecked it at Talladega. And died at that race and didn't make the race. And that was the only, honestly, the only true sports person when we lost him that I actually teared up about. And yeah, Davey Allison. So there's for your circle track guys.
So speaking on the category of meeting people, if there was ever any one track or any one person you would love to race, past or present, who or where would it be? Or who and where?
Man, I would say so I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Oh, goodness.
Probably one of my favorite tracks is Darlington. We've just always had great success there. I love it. The people that own it are super good to all the drivers and things. So, and in our sport, you always want to be the man. And so I want to beat the man. So I would race Ryan Martin at Darlington. I beat him to go to the finals and win that race. And, that'd be what I'd want to do. And we could go race all day and go 10 in a row. And I don't care. It would be fun.
I would love to see that, man. I'd love to be in person for that one. Get to meet you all.
Well, we'd probably end up yelling at each other at some point during that if we went 10 in a row, but we'd figure it out.
Hey, it's all about the fun. Competition is part of it.
Yeah, and we're all amped up and emotional. That's part of the business, part of the sport. It's the beauty of what you see on Street Outlaws is, here we go. We get in a car. Your adrenaline's at max. You make a pass. Whatever happens, you get down to the end. You're still adrenaline is up. You're coming off of it or whatever, and things have happened or whatever happens, and it's an incredible look into our lives at things and there are people who are better at shielding things than others. And I'm not always great at shielding things. I'd rather just tell you and we'll get over it later. But, part of the beauty of the reality TV is that you get to see us at the moment where we're at peak.
Yeah. That'd be a cool race to watch though. Over and over even. That'd be cool to watch.
I'd run him 10 in a row. He'd probably beat me 9 of them, but I'd run him anyway.
I got faith in you.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to diss Ryan, but you're the one I've interviewed.
Yeah, I know. I get it. We can beat him.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd have to be there for that one though.
Right.
So. Okay, so what is one thing that is most asked by fans when you meet them?
That's a good question. I have a lot of them ask me things like, it's not an ask, it's more of a statement like, oh, you're a lot bigger than I thought. Or I'll have someone say, "Oh, you're a lot smaller than I thought." I'm amazed at how many people say either that or the other. Which I don't know if I look huge on camera or small then, because I kind of state both. But I think I'm mostly asked like about Liebherr. I get that a lot. Like, hey, what's your connection to Liebherr? And they're a sponsor of ours and things like that, because I kind of subtly wear their logos without putting it on the car, and I think that creates kind of a piqued interest. I get asked, how did you get here? I get asked a lot of things like, how did you get on Street Outlaws? And I think it varies. I don't know that there's one particular thing that I'm asked more than others.
I mean, hey, any question is a question.
Yeah, I mean, there are no dumb ones, right?
Yeah.
There's Melody. She got her phone ringing.
Okay, so speaking of supporters and all that, who are your biggest supporters in racing?
Oh, that's pretty easy. My guys in the company are our biggest supporters. I mean, they love it. They love what we do. That's a lot of fun. My number one, of course, has to be my wife. And if you've ever watched the show, you know that she ain't taking crap from nobody.
Not at all.
No, she'll give it right back. She don't mind if you get her fired up. She's a firecracker and the fuse is already lit. So if you give her the business or you give me the business, you're gonna get the full brunt of Melody, and you deserved it. She's good at that, and I feel like, man, if your wife won't stand behind you or your woman won't stand behind you, you better get another. And she does, and I do it for her too. She's an incredible woman. She helps me do what we do. She travels. She does all the stuff. She packed the chutes. She's over here giving me the nod. Yeah, so we put her to work. See?
Yep.
Where'd you go? Say hello.
Still working.
Oh, yeah. She's getting cleaned up from Australia.
Hey, y'all needed a break, You came back, you relaxed.
Yeah, we just got to repack the refrigerator. We got a lot of stuff going on, but she's a big supporter. I'd also say Alan and Tara are big supporters. The four of us have learned how to go and make a car and do what we have to do to make the car raceable. Just the four of us can do about everything there is to do. And that's incredible when two couples, husbands and wives, can go do what we do. If we had to, we can make any race happen. So they're a huge help. Brian Sauser, who I mentioned earlier, is a big help. I mean, he'll come over and do anything mechanical we need. He's a badass. He knows how to do it all. He's just amazing. So I have those kind of people around me. We repainted the car before we went to Australia.
Yeah.
Guys from our shop came over. Guys from my engine shop came over and worked on it all hours of the night. They took it and painted it. I mean, the business, all the people, just everyone's incredibly helpful. I don't know who I'd narrow it down to.
I mean, you ain't got to narrow it down, just there's always a bunch of people that someone's going to be thankful for. So,
yeah.
So speaking of crew and all that, more focused on your crew chief, where did you meet Alan, and how long has he been with you?
Well, so Alan and I go back to street racing in Arizona. That's how we met. Turned out he was a mechanic too. And so I ended up enticing him over a couple of years to come to work for me. I was president of a company out there, big shop and stuff. So I brought him in. He did a great job. I mean, that guy can fix and do anything there is. He's a boundless energy, hard worker, smart. At times it's like everything. At times you get at each other a little bit, but that's normal too. I mean, he's just incredible. And so we met street racing. We've been together. That's probably been 20 years. So, yeah, he's worked for me. He's worked for me in all kinds of capacities. And I mean, he's the man.
That's great to have someone right there by your side do it all, though.
You can't do it without that guy. I don't know how you could.
So shout out to you, Alan.
Yeah.
So, you guys travel out different tracks, drag racing. So how does the climate at the different tracks affect your car, or does it affect your car even?
Ooh. No, here's the amazing part, of the hardest part of no prep racing. Not only do we have to worry about the weather and the way it impacts the engine performance, which it does, but because it's no prep, every track can be so wildly different. And they can change from day to day. They can change from heat of the sun to night, and they change dramatically during a race. And so every track is a challenge. It's a challenge to figure it out and get on top of it. So, it's the weather, but it's also where you are, and it all impacts it so much that it really is. I'd say it separates the men from the boys pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I was going to say girls, but I can't, because Lizzie and Kayla, Callie and Kayla. I mean, we have some really good girls in the sport who are great at what they do too. So that's fun.
And I've interviewed all 3 of the ones you just named.
Well, you're welcome to ask.
So let me think. If anyone watching has any questions, by the way, I did not mention at the beginning, but go ahead and feel free to ask. But so is there anything, since you're back on the subject of Australia, is there anything they do differently to the tracks there than they do here in the U.S.?
No. I mean, what we found was the tracks are famous here, where every one of them is dramatically different. The only thing I would say to that is Sydney. Sydney is probably the nicest track I've ever been to. I mean, they had air conditioned bathrooms. Maryland had those. That's a nice track too, but maybe not as nice or done up as well as Sydney. But Sydney was a fantastic track, but they tried to pull a trick on us. We walked out on the track Wednesday morning and it was perfect. We could have raced no prep on there. We were ready to go. We walked out on it Thursday morning. It was radial prep. You don't know what that means maybe, but they had that track perfectly glued, fantastic track, way too good for what we do. We don't know how to go down a track like that. So they were trying to trick us a little bit, and then they ran the lights where they were the same every run, so that their guys had the opportunity to guess. There was a lot of things that happened at Sydney that was a little bit shady on the Australian side, but that's what you kind of got to get used to. But I love their tracks. Perth was awesome. The people in Perth were awesome. Brisbane track was Willowbank. Willowbank's historic. It had a crazy bump in one lane that was difficult to get over in a slick spot. That was a struggle, and I almost got the wall going through that. That'll be fun one for everybody to pay attention to and see, because that took some lucky driving on my part. I'd like to call it skilled, but probably was lucky. But it was crazy. So, but their track's just like America. In America, we do the same thing. You race on one track, you go to the next one, it's completely different. Like Darlington, there's no comparison to Tucson. There's no comparison to one in Florida. So, it's always a challenge to figure them out and get down them.
That's awesome. I mean, but hey, you're on their turf, you kind of.
Oh, it's to be expected. The same thing happens when you go no prep racing or wherever you go here at home. If you don't have control of the track, whoever owns it's going to get what they want. Ryan Martin has a crazy story of going racing somewhere where they'd sprayed one lane and not his, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on where if they got home track advantage, they're going to use it. They're going to use it.
Yeah. That's one thing that's always a challenge, is home track advantage.
Sure. I mean, I played football and basketball for years, and so I dealt with home field advantage. It's the same thing.
Yep. I know a thing or two about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And the refs, in our case, it's the official with the timer, people up in the tower and the timer. I mean, if they want to set that clock to the same every time, you can get that, and so. That's just like getting a little bit of the refs on your side. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But, you just overcome it and run anyway.
Definitely. So speaking of like different tracks and all that, well, kind of drama follows everyone, you know.
Oh yeah.
Drama's a big part of it. So how do you manage to deal with the drama?
Well, I've had a share of drama. I'm usually a less dramatic person. Um, I'm usually quite calm, all that kind of stuff. I'm usually not one involved in the drama, but every now and then, and I think I look at it this way, right? There are people who are very guarded with every word that they say or whatever, and there are times that I'm not. And maybe I don't have to be, so I kind of treat it like that. And sometimes, and this is where everyone needs to understand, and this is true of everyone. This isn't just me. They take hundreds of hours of footage from every weekend, and they boil it down to your worst 20 seconds. So, everyone needs to get a little bit of grace in that. Everyone who is there hardly anyone on the show who hasn't had some dramatic moment. I've had mine, and you gotta learn how to move through and let people see what they're going to see, because they will. You'll get hammered on the internet if you have drama, and people will see the part of it that they wanted to see and hold you to an expectation that is theirs. It's not yours, and you just got to let that stuff go and say, hey. And I'll say this about one of the situations in mine. Like, yeah, I said something that I should not have said, and it is what it is. Later you can't change it, but if you go back, I apologize to the person for that, but I owe no one else an apology, because hey, at the time, I meant that. It wasn't right to say, but you're amped up, you're at full emotion, there's a lot going on. There are a lot of things that people don't understand that are going on too, and that all plays into the drama. It's part of the show. It's part of why people love the show. Here's what's great. You asked me about fans, and I've forgotten about this one. So fans come up to me all the time, often, and they'll say to me, hey, I like you because, man, you don't get in the drama, and I don't like the drama. But what about that time between Chief and so-and-so? Like, wait a minute, I thought you didn't like the drama. Why are you asking me about it? And so, everybody likes it. Just face it, it's a reality TV show, and everybody watches that stuff, and it plays well. It's crazy, but that's how it works.
That's how it works. So MPK Stuce asks, who has a good chance of top 10 that wasn't in it last year?
That wasn't in the top 10 last year? I don't know. I would say that the rules this year seem to kind of favor blower cars. So they should be moving up in the rankings from where they were. I believe that completely. There'll be less turbo cars than ever, and that'll be a continuing trend. Like you saw in World Series of Pro Mod and other things, the rules are, because people are afraid of the horsepower that turbos make, they keep relegating them into impossibility, and so that's going to continue. Things like that are happening, but I think it's interesting. The top 10 generally stays about the same 7, 8 of us. I've been lucky enough to finish the top 10, except for last year. I think it was 5th or 6th when I crashed, and therefore didn't finish out the season. But we're always up there. People who put in the effort, people who know and get good tuners and have good things and good programs, they just run up front.
Yeah. But it's kind of cool how it can kind of stay the same,
Well, take Ryan Martin as an example of this, right? And I'll say this: if you want to be great at sport, it's going to take 3 things. You're going to have the car, the hardware. You got to have good hardware. You just got to have it if you're going to run up front. Number 2, you better know what to do with that hardware. So you better be able to tune it, because all that great hardware, if you don't know what to do with it, means nothing.
You ain't getting nowhere.
Yeah. And then in no prep, you got to have a good driver. I mean, you just do. And so, those three things are essential to having a good program. So why is Ryan Martin always up front? Well, he's got all 3 of those. And you can go across the board. It doesn't matter. The people that run up front, they figure those things out.
Yeah, and a lot of time, sometimes it comes down to experience as well.
Oh yeah. Can you take the pressure of the situations? Have you been there before? It's the same of every sport. Football, you see teams work hard to get to the Super Bowl, and they're too inexperienced. They get close. They can't quite get there. And the next year they come back and they can. And they've just learned how to deal with situations. And it's the same with racing. It's very similar.
Yeah.
I mean,
most
all
sports
pressure is the same. What was that?
Most sports are when it comes to experience, and making it all the way.
Yep. Pressure is universal. How do you deal with it?
Yes, it's with everything. I mean, school.
Yeah. Business.
Yeah, business.
Mm-hmm.
So, a good viewer of mine, Aaron Ridgeway, asked, so do you prefer spray or no spray?
So you're talking about nitrous?
Think.
Yeah, I love nitrous. I was nitrous for many, many years. I love it. Haven't run it in a long time, though. So I'm a big fan of turbos and blowers and, centrifugals.
So if anyone else has any more questions, feel free to ask. Most of mine are kind of done. Have like 30 something on here. It has not felt that long though.
No.
It's been like an enjoyable interview,
Good. Well, thank you.
I've had a great time, that's for sure. It's great to knock another Street Outlaws driver off my list. Hopefully I can get through all of them, past and present.
Nice.
Like Ryan Martin would be a dream to interview. Big Chief, since he was on the show, he was always my favorite growing up.
Well, those are big names. I'm just small compared to those.
No, it's not that. You're
true.
Interview.
It's okay. Those guys have millions of followers. They earned them. They're original on the show, things like that. And Ryan's a champion. Those are the things that get you the honor, and it's well deserved for all of them.
Which it's not like I'm trying to discredit anyone. I mean, it's great to interview. I've interviewed Caleb Morton now, Justin Swanstrom, Callie Mills.
Sure.
I'm missing one.
All good people.
Oh, I'm missing one.
So one of the things I think is not well understood by people who just watch the show or whatever and may not know the behind the scenes, what those guys go through, and I'm going to use Murder Nova as an example of this, right? What they go through from a race where they have so many fans who want to meet them. They stand in line for hours. They'll stand in line after until they're all gone. The things that they do is, I don't think they get enough recognition for those things and those efforts that they put in. They work hard for it. They're at the top of the heap for a reason, and they've earned it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I see posts all the time about all these drivers, going out there for the fans and all that. Yep. And I'm just like, it's a great thing what they do. They take their own personal time to do for the fans.
Yep. And as we've gotten a little more popular, I've had to do the same thing where I have to bring an extra tech along to each race because I'm spending more and more time up signing or, taking pictures with people. What's not understood is take someone like Murder Nova. I mean, he's so inundated. He's got to have people to work on the car because he's got so many obligations at that race. It's not easy.
I definitely think it would not be. I mean, it's great to see how they manage to still do it while not having to deal with fans, but
yeah. No, they love their fans. They want to take care of them, and they do. But they sacrifice something when they do, and usually that's time working on the car or that kind of stuff. It's harder to do.
It's amazing what they do, and shout out to each and every one of you that do that. You too, of course, you too.
Yeah, I don't get as buried as those guys do. And
I mean, you're taking your time to talk to me for over an hour, so that's pretty honorable.
Well, thank you, but those guys, they really do get. And like I said, hats off to them. I'm almost glad I don't have to deal with that, because or not deal with it, but it just creates a lot of complexities when you're trying to race, and it's part of the job. Though, I mean, it's part of the experience.
Yeah. Like Roy Lane just says, people don't think about all that. I mean,
they don't.
They just want the driver's attention.
Yeah. Or it's easy to look at it and say, oh man, you race on Street Outlaws, that's so awesome. And they only see that part of it that they see on TV where you're racing, you're getting in the car or whatever. They don't see the 48 hours of hard work and preparation you did, the 24 hours to tow the vehicle there, whatever it was on top of it. They don't see that. And every one of us has to do it. It's a tough sport. And for those guys to be able to do it, it's amazing to me.
Yeah, it's incredible. I love it's very honorable, and I love seeing that. But I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a very good point.
Yeah.
So, okay. So MBK Stu says, how does that affect turbo business and sponsorship with them making it hard for turbos?
Well, you can look across the board. Turbos are still a great application for all of the other types of racing that happen. It's just at No Prep Kings and at the highest levels like Pro Mod, it's just, it's running out of style. And I think that's partly due to, like I said it before, people are afraid, or the promoters, designers of the sport, whatever, in our case, people who choose the rules, they're afraid of the horsepower. The complexity is an added problem. And so, turbos will just get harder to use at the highest level. They're still fantastic everywhere else. If I had a daily driver or a street car or whatever, no doubt. In fact, my 69 we're working on, that'll be, my Trans Am will go turbo. My 69 will be, all that kind of stuff, because it's the best horse for that kind of application.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just differences in the way they make and use power,
Yep, exactly. It's what it comes down to. Well, one of my big final questions, before we actually end the live, I didn't ask that. Wait, did I? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't ask that. Okay. I'm going crazy.
That's okay.
MBK Stu says it was an awesome interview, so thank you. It was awesome. I mean, I had a blast talking to you.
Good. Do you have a question at the end, you said?
Oh, I had already asked it.
Oh.
I'm going crazy. I don't know. This is just an honorable experience. I mean, it was great to be able to hear your side of things, especially after getting back from Australia. It's great to be one of your first virtual interviews.
Well, thank you. It's it'll be crazy from here, because our car is supposed to be back late April. It wasn't going to be back until the end of May. Both Jeff and I, as you know, took cars that are MPK level cars. Jeff Lutz.
Yeah.
We both will need those cars. He'll need his for season, and I'll need mine in case the new one is not repaired in time. And so they got on a different boat that's on a different time frame. So it's supposed to be back the end of April, barring no problems. And I'm one who can't talk about no transportation problems anymore. So barring a transportation issue, it should be in the harbor of Philadelphia at the end of April, and then we'll have that one at least. We may have to race high voltage the first 2 races of the season, and that'll just be how it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the transportation that has to happen for it to work, to go to another continent.
Oh yeah, it's got to travel a long ways. And this year, this sitting in Philadelphia is going to put it through the Panama Canal. We both talked about, Jeff said he'd love to have a GoPro to watch it go through the Panama Canal. That would be cool. But
I should put a GoPro on the car and just let it.
Yeah, but we can't, because it'd just be dark. It's in a container, but
true.
True. And you don't know where the container is going to be, because they stack them.
Yeah.
It might be in the belly, it might be outside. Who knows? But it'd be cool to see.
I didn't think about that. I mean, well, regardless, I think there is always safety. Most of the time, there's safety on the boat. So
yeah, we can track. We're supposed to be able to track the boat where it is, so we should be able to track as it comes through the Panama Canal. That'll be fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that'd certainly be a sight to see. Just sneak on the boat just to see.
that'd be fun.
It would be. It would be great. That'd be awesome. Almost as awesome as this one. But anyways, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you,
Robin. It was amazing. Great to talk to you. Been looking forward to it since Mom told me.
Oh yeah, well, good. Yeah, I appreciate her reaching out to me, and I appreciate you spending the time. Thank you very much.
It was not a problem at all. I was excited. So
good.
We'll definitely have to catch up sometime in the future.
Yeah, I wish you all the success in the world. I know, like I said, I see my girls, and you know, to make your way in a world like this takes some effort, and to be aggressive like you are, and try and get the interviews and stuff. I mean, I appreciate that. It's awesome. So,
well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, go get them. Don't give up.
I know I don't plan on it. You know, I knew what I wanted to do at a young age, so
good.
I'm sticking with it.
Good.
All right, well, see you guys next time, and hopefully, you know, you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I know I had a great time, so hope you did too. And I guess we'll see you later.
See you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.